Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumet Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state specialist, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today is day 6, and we're going to be talking all about Lord Shiva, specifically in his form called Kalabhairava, okay? Very, very powerful video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and you follow along with this channel because we're going deeper into the flow state every single day. Actually, I post a video. So if the algorithm suddenly, by happenstance, you found this channel, good for you, because this kind of stuff is very, very powerful if you can apply it in the right way. First of all, let's understand Shiva's the Adi Yogi, okay? So the first yogi ever. Okay, he had 7 people come up to him and ask him what he's doing. I mean, generally, isn't that curiosity when we see something that seems like someone's in their own process? It's so fascinating. So his flow state actually made him the first yogi, if you think about that, right? He was just doing his own thing. But then it became yoga because people were interested in that, in a sense. You get what I mean? So first start to understand that. I really, really resonate with Shiva, man. Not only his story, but just in general. Everything really resonates with his whole character. Of course, I say he in that personification. However, Shiva is basically consciousness itself. So you got to start to understand that this is one of those grand, like, he is the god of gods. He is one of the 3 gods in the Trimurti in Hinduism, including Vishnu and Brahma. He represents this devotion, this discipline, this going inwards, or this inner journeying, the quality of reinventing oneself, right? The quality of transformation or rebirth or death. That's really, really important, and it's important thematically in terms of understanding Shiva, because he is this rebellious outlaw energy. Right? It's not like he was going out of his way to marry Parvati. Parvati wanted to marry him because she was almost a reflection of him. And you understand also that before her form was Sati and she got, burnt, and it wasn't his right counterpart in a sense because she was incomplete. After that understanding that 2 complete people meeting together is the symbol of a perfect relationship. This is why a lot of, single women, they pray to Shiva, to find someone like Shiva. Also a specific sect in Hinduism called Shivites, so Shivaism. They have their own followers as well, just going into different rishis and sages that reflect and get light or inspiration from his teachings. Also notice he has a snake around his neck, Vasuki. That just proves essentially that he can conquer death, that he doesn't fear it, and he's the deathless one. He's in that state of Turiya, which is very close to flow state, also known as the 4th state of consciousness. Darkness is not the opposite of light. It is the absence of it. Now, darkness doesn't necessarily mean bad, because start to understand that most of this universe is made from dark matter and dark energy. That's 2/3 of this entire thing. So Kala Bhairava, right? Kala, what does Kala mean? A lot of people might associate Kala with darkness, but Kala is just time, okay? So you could look at him as a time lord, a dispenser of justice, the protector of timelines in a sense. For me personally, Shiva's really helped in healing my heart chakra after my breakup. Shiva's energy has been the most healing, and it's gotten me back on track faster than I think I would have taken otherwise, because he's really, really good at holding space. And he believes in taking action and encountering things, but also going inwards and being in complete stillness and meditation. That's the power of this being. You see, he can go into the stillness, but he can also be a yogi and move and contort himself and put himself into these motions. Also, one of his mantras is chants Har Har Mahadev. Mahadev is more so associated with the 12th dimensional version of Shiva. Or basically, that mantra can help you cut any obstacles, right? Or roadblocks that are getting in the way. Basically, they're to slice. He's basically there to also destroy people's ignorance. So he's the destroyer god. Doesn't mean he's going around destroying everything, but hey, you can't build a skyscraper on top of another skyscraper. Sometimes you got to start from the foundation. You got to start from the scratch. And transformation requires that you remove certain things, you eliminate certain things. That's also why it's associated with flow state, you see, because when you're in the zone, you eliminate all other distractions. Get yourself into a state of mind where time stops for you, slows down for you, speeds up for you, distorts for you. And that leaves you in this timeless pocket. So timelessness is really what Kalabhairava represents. And if we also understand that Shiva has many different forms, so when you work with one form, you basically work with all the forms. So Kalabhairava represents something called the ultimate reality, okay, or the Parabrahma. He's also known as Dandapani, which just basically means the one who carries the rod, the stick, the danda. So basically he's a representation of, if you've ever heard of Manjushri, who destroyer of the Maras, right? The Maras is the illusion, or the Maya, and the Danda is there to punish the sinners, but the punishment is that he's chopping away their illusions. He's getting them to face the truth of the situation or matter. It comes from the word Bhiru, which means fearsome. So this is the most feared form of Shiva. Kalabhairava means terribly fearsome form. So basically he's beyond fear, or he destroys fear. This is so required if we're looking at flow state, because you need to go from a fear state of mind to a flow state of mind. Fear will actually hold you back. It'll constrict you. It'll give you low energy. It'll give you bad health issues. But love will open you up in so many different ways. And love creates timelessness. So Brahma was getting a little egotistical one day, saying, you know, oh, Shiva has 5 heads. I also have 5 heads, you know. You could say that I'm Shiva. Or maybe I'm even better than him, I don't know, right? So what Shiva did is he took a dread from his hair, threw it down on the ground, and that dreadlock became Kalabhairava. Kalabhairava, the fearsome form of Shiva, then came and cut off one of Brahma's heads. But what he's really doing is destroying his ego, his identity. So it's an ego death. Kalabhairava is again a guardian essence. Remember how we were talking about the Makara? All of these link, okay? There's a link that's forming over these videos in time. You're gonna see it. Kalabhairava's form guards a lot of the Shiva temples. So technically, since Kalabhairava was invented from a dreadlock or a strand of hair from Shiva, you could technically say he's the fierce son of Shiva also. If I had to pick a form of Shiva that would be entertaining to watch him fight, and you understand, if you ever watch the depiction of Shiva versus Raiden on that whole Ragnarok show, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Where he's depicted there. Now, there he's depicted as weak, kind of like he can get his arms chopped off and things like this. But start to understand that Shiva could destroy and demolish any of these gods with just looking at them. The mere sight of his eyes can destroy anything or anyone or any form or any idea, okay? That power of the third eye, when focused right, when you can get into that state where blissful awareness pervades your whole worldview, you have so much power to destroy and go beyond fear and death. I was actually using this energy at a time where I was completely terrified and anxiety and scared, okay? So I was still discovering this character of mine at that time. I think over time we got to explore a lot of what, you know, Sadhguru had this amazing mantra that I listened to a while back, and I started to feel something from that. It's incredible. I'll link it in the description, but try and listen to that, man. It's so powerful. And I think that Kalabhairava is also associated with, like, of course, like death and cremation grounds and things like this. So, you know, if anybody in your family dies and you want to give them, you know, greater blessings in the afterlife and so forth, you know, it's really good idea to use his ashtakam, or if you're having some disease or something like this, it's good to use his mantra. It's a powerful energy, right? Because this version of Shiva works with anybody. It works with, you know, prostitutes, drug addicts, criminals, you know, people who are completely like, have been lousy and degenerate and just bad people their entire lives. They can come to Kashi and just receive this transmission where they face like years of pain and torment in that one like little millisecond of before their death, right? So their next life becomes super peaceful and blissful. Like that's one of the reasons why people go to Kashi. Right? He is the silent, unmanifest. He is the creator of the cosmos. So he's known as the god of destruction, but I more so see him as a god of transformation, okay? Because I'm a transformation coach, and if you ask me what I do, I kill people, not in the sense of like I murder people, but I kill people's identities and what does not belong. I eliminate the traumas and the different things that are just not serving people, you see? And so that changes their identity, that changes who they are completely. They feel more light, they feel more authentic, they feel more tapped in, man. That they can actually live throughout the day and then have fun and like get better, right? And grow and be happy. So Shiva to me, he represents all of light and dark. He's not only the Kala, the darkness and the void, though he is that, he can also go and transmute into the light and be matter itself with the help of his consort Parvati as well. Because Shiva and Shakti, they play together in this dance of the cosmos. If you listen to his mantra, you'll also understand it clears you of your sins and your bad karma. So if you're wondering like, oh, how do I remove my bad karma? Like this is one of the ways that you can actually do that, okay? At the time when I was using this mantra and this energy, and I was, using Rudraksh beads and chanting, I remember I would also say to myself, I fear nothing, I fear nothing, I fear nothing. It was such a powerful affirmation at the time. And by the way, the difference between mantras and affirmations, or mantras are for the metaphysical world, affirmations are for the physical world, okay? So I fear nothing, I fear nothing, I fear nothing. So Sri Kalabhairava Ji's main purpose is to help others with their purpose. Okay, because if he is representative of the supreme or ultimate reality, then he is karmically dragging us through our shadows, or our dark side and our light. Sometimes in an exaggerated way, he'll drag us on. The dragon is another theme, okay, for this particular path working of Primal Sutra, if you're more interested in these concepts. What we're really trying to do is take this ancient wisdom and make it practical for people so they can actually apply it to their daily lives. Whether we like it or not, we will always be consumed by time. There's no running from time. You can't hide from time. Time will just keep moving forward. You see what I'm saying? So that's the energy of Kalabhairava, is this forward momentum of time. Time and its thresholds will affect our lives. This non-doership, this effortless automatic state of resting in stillness, being present with what is and learning to love the present moment and everything it brings. You see, Turiya, the force is known as amatra, which means immeasurable. You cannot measure this state because it is formless. It's pure consciousness. In the Upanishads, they say it's not inwardly cognitive, it's not outwardly cognitive. Okay? So it is almost like a sense of no mind. So the moon, the little crescent on his head, what does that represent? The moon is the wisdom beyond the mind. The moon is the feminine wisdom, but it needs to be expressed with a tinge of the mind, you see? And so if the moon is next to the mind, that means that the mind is expanding. The mind is radiant. And this is a big teaching here. The snake can also represent alertness. This detached alertness is so powerful, but also going beyond the fear of death, okay? Victory over death it could also represent. In some versions, Shiva is also called Nilakanta, right? Which basically means blue-throated one, from his throat chakra being so activated. A lot of people, they thought that they could have scorpions bite them and things like this, and they would turn blue just like him, Shiva is absolutely phenomenal, but his fan club's a little weird, let's just say that. He is the fourth state in that Turiya, so he's holding up the Trishul, the three states. You see? Dreaming, sleeping, waking. He's holding those three states in his hand as the weapon. You get that? This is really deep. Really significant, the symbolism. If you can break this down, you gotta understand. This man is holding life itself in his hands. He's holding the entire flow cycle in his hands. And you can't hide from the Trishula, right? How can you hide from a biological cycle of life? It's gonna keep moving. Struggle phase, release phase. Flow phase, rest phase. It's gonna keep going. You're gonna sometimes be in, waking consciousness, beta brainwaves, and then you go into a relaxed wakefulness, alpha. And then you enter the alpha theta bridge through the flow, and then you maintain it. This is what you keep doing. The third eye obviously, represents intuition, clairvoyance, alertness, wisdom, knowledge. Basically the mind's eye, the ability to see beyond what really is in the physical world using only our five senses. The drum, or the dumaru, I have one, but it's more so Tibetan. That drum represents the expansion and collapse of the universe. Expansion, collapse, re-expansion, collapse, re-expansion, collapse. This is the process of creation, right? Order, chaos. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times, okay? That's how the cycle keeps moving. The bull, what does the bull represent? The bull is the symbol of righteousness. Riding on the bull means that you are true, you're pure, you're riding the truth consciousness to your destination. So the fact that you need a little bit of mind to understand a mind, which is no mind, is represented through the crescent moon, called Shiva Tattva. Now, of course, if you're familiar with magic or the occult, there are different tattvas. We found this out from Zotis. The rishis made Shiva this blue form so that you can actually comprehend this nature, or this essence. Shiva's not really a person, okay? He has no shape, he has no body. He's infinity personified. So the two principles of creation you can also see in the Shiva Lingam, okay? Which is a combination of penis and vagina, basically, okay? Which all cultures have, which we mentioned in the podcast also. By the way, if you're not watching the podcast, also check it out. Savage Shaman Seminars, just type it into YouTube. Did you know that his mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, why it's so powerful, okay? Some of you have been wondering, like, whoa, I'm doing this mantra, and why is it so powerful? Namah Shivaya. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. That's the meaning. So mantras can actually change the effects of your horoscopes. Ooh, okay? So if you can chant this mantra, it can change the bad positioning of certain planets, things like this. His very breath is the Vedas itself, you get that? Then of course you have his dancing form, Nataraja. So it's formless, it has no beginning or end. If you go into Omkara, the primordial sound of the universe, you can truly understand Shiva. Om is not something that you repeat, it's something you hear. You silence everything, and you hear the silence of the universe. Much love to this deity. Thank you so much. We call him Shivaji, so thank you, Shivaji. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a lot of value from it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm a scholar of life. I'm a scholar of spirituality. And I think this is so fascinating how we can relate these altered states of mind to these Vedic understandings. I recently also just got the Bhagavad Gita today. It's a beautiful copy in red. So I'm gonna go through this very shortly. But I love the fact that, I've been back in India for 2 years or more, and I've been learning so much more about my culture and falling in love and finding the skill set of channeling these different deities and going through this entire process. It's been so fascinating, and I'm falling more in love with my life every single day. Thank you. May the flow be with you.